it comes to the pace of living, there are two opposite camps. The first camp says, be productive, move faster, achieve more. The other camp urges to slow down, to be rather than do, and just stay present. But many people who decide to slow down simply don't know what to do with themselves at the end of the day. Sometimes when we stop, we cannot find ourselves anymore because we become disconnected, confused, and lost amidst all the background noise. And in today's video, I'll share with you 5 tips for intentional living to reconnect with yourself. And it's not just spending more time outdoors or having enough sleep or moving your body. Of course, all those are very essential. But there is something else that I want you to invite to think about today. Start your day with at least 15 minutes of silence and being alone with yourself. It's not that much, it's completely doable, and potentially this habit can change a lot for the better. These 15 minutes can be something other than traditional meditations because, well, those don't work always for everyone. I personally find the traditional seated meditations very challenging and almost impossible for myself, and that's why I tend to find inner silence through movement or through doing something with my own hands, or just lying still in the bed or on the sofa in complete absence of noises. I grew up in a family with constant background sounds. We had a traditional old-school radio that worked almost 24/7. We always had a TV on, and there were 4 of us living in a tiny Soviet one-bedroom apartment. Since I was a young child, I learned how to sleep with 2 pillows on my head, and I learned to love silence. Until this very moment, I prefer to have mornings completely to myself, even if for that I have to wake up 1 or 2 hours earlier. It's not a problem for me if I have silence and aloneness in the morning. When I wake up, I avoid having any dialogues, be them real ones or imaginary ones going on in my head. Even reading emails or text messages or responding to comments is the dialogue type of activity for me, and that's why I cut it out completely. In the morning, I need to listen to my own voice to reconnect with myself, not with others. Try to have at least 15 minutes of complete quietude, whether you have tea or coffee in silence, or write your morning pages, or write down your dreams, or knit a sock after all. In silence, there is eloquence. Stop weaving and see how the pattern improves. Treat your saved time right. We are constantly told how productive we should be in order to save a lot of time, more time every day. But just ask yourself, what are you going to do with all that saved time? Are you going to spend it doom scrolling or texting with your friend or your child or your parents? Are you going to binge watch a TV show that you won't remember in a week? Are you going to do a short feel-good workout, or are you going to endlessly plan and organize something without actually doing what what makes you feel alive and fulfilled. Back in the times when I lived in my Siberian hometown, I used to go to one very cozy yoga studio, and I made friends with a woman who was a bit older than me. She had a very serious job and had a family. We were completely different, but somehow felt connected. One day, right before the yoga class, we were chatting about self-care routines, and I told her about my self-massage rituals, and she asked how much time usually it took for me to do self-massage. I told that it was only 5 to 7 minutes, and her immediate answer was, "No way I can do that. I have to get my kid ready for school, I have to check his classes, I have to cook dinner, and so on and so forth." So she just made it clear that it was an unachievable practice for her. And I said, okay, I got your point, because I really did. But in a month, when we walked to the bus station after the yoga class was over, my friend confessed that now she is doing her self-massage regularly, and that she managed to find that 5-7 minutes every day, in the morning or in the evening, just as soon as she decided to cut her screen time. Let's be honest, we don't have a real understanding how much our screen time lasts every day. We don't put it in minutes or hours, and it can be a huge deposit of potentially free time for something important. And I'm guilty of that as well, don't get me wrong, I still struggle with it, and it's definitely a journey that takes time. Modern man thinks he loses something, time, when he does not do things quickly. Yet he doesn't know what to do with the time he gains, except kill it. Express yourself authentically every day. The importance of self-expression lies in its ability to help us with self-discovery. To know yourself, you need to try new things, and through those activities, you can discover some innate talents that you had no idea existed within you. But self-expression is much more than just your talents. It's how you carry yourself into every new day and how you live through it. When people are confident with authentic self-expression, this can lead to healthy connections, communications, and boundary setting within all types of relationships. Without it, we tend to say yes when we actually mean no. We are afraid to speak our mind. We tend to slip into people-pleasing behaviors. We withdraw when things get difficult, and also find making decisions pretty challenging. Try to spend at least 10 minutes every day exploring the ways you express yourself, without judgment, without unrealistic expectations, but with honesty, compassion, and love. We all have our own self-expression tools. For me personally, it's my creative outlets through writing, making art, collaging, drawing, making videos. And lately I had a huge creative block. I felt stuck, and little by little I'm overcoming it. Looking back, I can see that it was based on fear of failure, or not being as good and original as others, people who I look up to. Maybe you experience this as well, just in different spheres of your life, at work, in the family, or within some social groups. But it's nonsense if we fear that we are not as brilliant or original as other individuals. We are not living our own life, we are living their life. If we try to imitate what we think is success, we end up with an imitation of life instead of a continuous play of authentic self-expression. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. In one of the recently watched and a very inspiring class, I came across the following thought. Your mind is where everything starts and ends, so it's your responsibility to make sure that you create a mental territory where you'd have enough resources that you can pull from without relying on anyone else. This class by author and activist Chidera, aka Slumflower, is part of the learning path Self-Care Essentials Embrace and Nurture Real You on Skillshare. This collection explores valuable exercises that will help you learn to listen to your heart and find your best path as you incorporate essential self-care techniques along the way. Learning paths are hand-picked classes meant to be taken in specific order. They are available in a range of experience levels from beginner to advanced and a variety of categories including design, crafting, cooking, creative freelancing tools and software, marketing, etc. By the way, if you don't know already, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, with thousands of classes led by industry pros across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, craft, and more. If you are interested in learning something new, check out the description box down below. The first 500 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. Thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this part of the video, and thank you everyone for considering to sign up for the free trial because this helps my channel a lot. How many habits does a person have on the average? Today I tried to count all my daily habits and it's around 25. But if to think deeply, I think there are much more habits that I exercise every day than I even think. Habits are great when it comes to maintaining mental and emotional stability and also when we need to get things done simply. But they also contribute to living on autopilot when you don't live but rather sleepwalk through life without thinking much or remembering it. So instead of automatically consuming our habits, we can turn them into a meaningful background. We can do that by connecting the dots between the habit and ourself. What makes you do this or that thing? Where did you get that particular habit? What does this habit tell us about you? Live through yourself, not through the random blurred backgrounds. Be your own background. Then, simple habits can become little sparks of joy scattered throughout your day. Say goodbye to whatever leaves you empty. In one of my recent videos about getting this long-term apartment in Tbilisi, I mentioned the feeling of emptiness that is rather intriguing and inviting. But there is another type of emptiness that actually depletes you. Reacting to some hurtful comments, being together with people who are toxic to us, or trying to change someone else's opinion at the moment when these opinions are just not ready to be changed. It's when we invest our time, attention, and effort into something that brings nothing back. The emptiness that I'm talking about can manifest itself as sadness, catastrophic thinking, melancholy, just being upset all the time with the world around. And the thing is that this emptiness is pretty challenging to track, because the moment that we feel it, we immediately do something to cover it up, because it is so discomforting. But it is so important to understand what makes you personally feel empty in a bad way, and to eliminate the things that do that, because it's a very important step towards like a healthy mental well-being, and to regain your stability in life. Once conform, once do what other people do because they do it, and the lethargy steals over all the finer nerves and faculties of the soul. She becomes all outer show and inward emptiness, dull, callous, and indifferent. You know, when I was working on this video and was writing script, I was hesitant whether to include this particular quote and this very last tip about emptiness, because these type of things bear a very special mood that is not often welcomed within people, within larger groups of people, as this causes quite discomforting thinking because it's not something, I mean, it's a difficult topic to talk about, and it can be very triggering, and people come to YouTube to entertain themselves, or mostly, of course. But if you have watched this video till the end, it means that we are on the same wave, on the same page, or in the same cup, whatever makes you feel good at the moment. I am truly thankful for your company and for being in this circle of friends, so thank you for your time and attention. Please feel free to share in the comments what you think, what you personally do in order to make your living intentional. And huge thanks to everyone who supports me on different tipping platforms and on Patreon, where I post new, pretty much personal videos every week. Thanks to you, this channel exists and I can talk about these not always comfortable things. Thank you once again. And for now, as always, be safe and keep your heart open. And I will see you soon. Пока-пока.